Pete says Dallas needs both Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard. Pollard was good for 131 yards and 3 touchdowns Sunday, filling in as the starter for an injured Zeke. Coach Pete calls Zeke a sledgehammer and Pollard a sword, saying, quote, "The sledgehammer is crushing and pounding, and the sword comes in and slices you up." What an analogy. Shannon, what do you think? Should Pollard be getting the majority of the carries at running back for Skip's Cowboys?
No. I believe the Cowboys are handling it the right way. Pollard has been with the Cowboys for 4 years, and he stayed relatively in the role that he had as a rookie. And I think that's the best role for him. He's not used to being an every down back. Zeke averages 19 carries a game. Tony Pollard averages 7 carries a game. He had the most carries he had ever had in a game on Sunday, 14. Now, you talk about Christian McCaffrey wearing down, he can take that pounding. You think you're going to be able to hand this guy the ball 20, 25 times a game and he not break that? I do not.
I do.
I believe he's a DH. There's a reason why the DH, all he does is hit home runs. They don't let him play the field. They don't let him do anything. They want him well rested so he can come in and hit home runs. That's what Tony Pollard's job is when Zeke softens the defense up, you come in and hit home runs.
Did Zeke soften up the Bears?
Hold on. So he's been there 4 years, and you're going to base everything that you want on one game?
Well, how many chances does he get to start a football
And why is
game?
that? Why is that?
Tell me when it's my turn.
We've seen a lot of guys. We've seen receivers. Oh, man, if he put him in the number 1 role, they go get the number 1 role, and then what happens, Skip? All of a sudden, they're not that guy. He's not a bell cow back. I understand he give you splash, he give you pizzazz. Yes, but if you allow this man to carry the ball 19 between like Zeke averages 19 carries a game over the course of his career. You give this man 19, 25 carries a game. For the next 6 games, I guarantee you, he will not finish the season. He's not built like that. There's a reason why teams have 2 backs unless you got Derrick Henry. Now, if he was Derrick Henry size, I'm like, you know what, Skip? He should be in there. Derrick Henry is 6'3", 245, 255. He's going up as I speak. Yes, but not this man, Skip. You can't run him like that. He's about the same size as Christian McCaffrey. And how does that work out when they give Christian McCaffrey all those carries, Skip? How did that work out for him? Exactly. You're going to be like, you're going to be like, why did they do that? They got Zeke. Let Zeke get some of those tough yardage. Why do you have to pound him in there like that? That is what Zeke's for. So, no, I like the 2-back system. It's working really well for them. And down the stretch, you're going to need both of these guys. You let Zeke hammer away, and when the defense is exhausted, they're tired of tackling Zeke, you let Tony Pollard hit a crease and hopefully hits his head on the goalpost. So I agree with the way the Cowboys are actually operating it currently.
I think you're speaking from your Cowboy-hating heart here.
Skip, at the end of the day, they still going to have to, to get to where you want to be, you're going to have to beat the Eagles, you're going to have to beat the 49ers. Okay?
We will beat the Eagles. We will beat the 49ers if Tony Pollard gets 20 touches as opposed to 4 or 5 touches.
First of all, you're not going to beat the 49ers if you can't stop the run. You're not going to beat the Eagles if you can't stop the run.
We're talking about the offense. It looked different on Sunday against, albeit the Bears. I got it, but it looked different because Tony Pollard is special. Tony Pollard is criminally underutilized. He is now stuck as the backup running back, the clear number 2 to an Ezekiel Elliott, who is a favorite, like a son to Jerry Jones, who overpaid him and will not give it up. He will not swallow his pride and let go of the fact that Zeke, to this day, is the highest paid running back in pro football. He earned it for the first 3 years. Then he got paid for what he had done, past tense, as opposed to what he was about to do, because his production just kept going down over the next 3 years of the contract.
Skip, there was no indication to say that Zeke's production was going to fall off like it did, because he was only, 23 when he got the contract extension? So it wasn't like he was 25, 26. He's 26 now. I think he's 26 now. So there was no reason for Jerry to say, man, you know what? I think Zeke's best days is behind him as a 23-year-old.
His best days are unfortunately behind him. I used to love him to death. We did a commercial together, you and I. Better Come Prepared commercial. And the opening scene is me leaping out of bed, already dressed to work out. I slept in my workout clothes, and you can see on my nightstand, I got a picture of Zeke.
Yeah.
Well, that's how much I did love him. But hey, you got to keep proving, you got to keep earning my fandom love here, because I can't even recognize him. It's like he went to Cabo to hold out, and we saw a video of him running in Cabo sand to stay in shape.
Right.
And then it looked like he's still running Cabo sand when he got into his first game for the Dallas Cowboys.
You told me this year he's going to go to 80 yards a game. You changed your mind?
I'm trying to hang on, because I thought maybe this is a contract year for him. It's not officially a contract year, but they can cut him after this year without big cap danger, right?
You know what's going to happen. Jerry going to restructure the contract. Zeke is not getting cut. You know good well Jerry not cutting no Zeke.
But you could cut him without huge penalty after this year. So I thought effectively in the back of his mind, he's thinking this is a contract year. It's even beyond a contract year. You're not playing for a new contract. You're just playing to stay in the league.
He's going to get restructured that contract and be right with the Cowboys next year.
Okay. If he stays on the path he's been on so far this year, and it goes just the way it's been going, I'm not sure if Zeke's going to be in the league next year, because if they did let him go, and you could be right, Jerry's he loves him so much like a son, and he's so proud of him, because remember, Jerry sees some of his long ago wayward self in Zeke, and I was his father figure, and I helped him beat his demons off the field. Well, I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
And so Jerry just clings to that, and he clings to his pride that I paid him. No, you overpaid him.
Yes.
I paid him. I need some bang for my buck. Let's let him bang away.
You know how Jerry went to war with Roger Goodell over Zeke.
He did.
He was threatening to blow the whole damn thing up for Zeke because the guy got suspended for 6 games. He's like, no.
He reportedly confronted Lisa Friel in a league meeting and said, there is nothing there. There's nothing there.
And he also told us, hey, you going to kill the golden goose.
Mm-hmm. That's true. He did say that. Okay.
So we know how Jerry feels about, and maybe you're right, Skip. Maybe it's blind loyalty. Maybe because Zeke has been so good for those first 3 years, there was no running back better, and that's what Jerry sees, and maybe in Jerry's mind, Zeke can get that back. But we know running backs, history tells us, running backs don't dip, and then all of a sudden come back up.
Okay, I got that. So back to Skip Pete, the running backs coach, and I love his first name. It's the all-time greatest first name.
That's right.
Rodney is his father?
No, Willie.
Willie's
is his
father. Okay,
father.
I got it.
Skip and Rodney are brothers.
Got it. I got it. He's making the case that he learned football from the late, great Al Davis, who I learned a lot of football from. And he said that the whole philosophy of the Raiders was you have to have 2 at that position. I will agree with that. But somebody has to get the majority of the carries. Yeah. Somebody has to be your bell cow, or at least your number 1, RB1, right? That you have to start and finish games with. Zeke is still playing the starter role and the finisher role.
Right.
And again, Skip's idea is that he, as he called him, it's the sword and the sledgehammer. Okay, but he's the sledgehammer. My problem is, as a fan, I am mentally worn out watching them try to establish the run with Zeke early in games to create play action for Dak, or in the past for Cooper Rush. And Shannon, you know how it feels. Like, first down, none. Let's try it again. 2nd down, 2. And all of a sudden it's 3rd and 8. And I'm like, that got us a lot of places, right? We're behind the chains again.
Now we know it's going to pass. Okay? Go through the ball.
Now let's see. Next series. Oh, he goes 1, and then he goes -1, and then he goes 2, and then he goes 0.
Right.
And he goes 1, and then maybe he breaks one for all of 4 yards. And you say, there he is. There's old Zeke. Right. And I can't see him anymore because the bell cow back has turned into a plow horse back to me. And he's still, the reason Jerry loves him, the reason the locker room loves him is he's got warrior spirit. He will run through brick walls, or at least try to. And remember, he has played hurt for the last 2 years, and now once again, he's got another sprain of another knee ligament. And reportedly last year, he played 2/3 of the season, the last 2/3, with a sprained, I think it was a PCL. Okay? So they love him for that. I love him for that. But it doesn't get me anywhere when I have an alternative setting there who got to be RB1 this past Sunday. And can we see what he showed? He hit his head on the goalpost 3 times, as you say.
Yeah.
Okay, it goes 7, 18, and 54. If we could see these 3 runs, here's the first one. And he's slippery between the tackles. He doesn't try to run through brick walls. This is the second one. And I got to tell you, we got to run this one back if we can. This is the
Eddie Jackson got to feel that hole.
Look at what he does to Eddie Jackson. He plants and bolts right on him, and he just leaves him in his way.
Right.
I mean, he faked. This is the last one. He just breaks. He broke 2 tackles in the backfield. He doesn't look like he's flying to me,
right,
but he flies.
Yeah.
And if we could go back to the second one, the 18-yarder, Eddie Jackson is really good.
Yeah.
And he plants and bolts right on Eddie Jackson and fakes him right out of his cleats. Step and cut. And he just leaves him waving.
Right.
You know? Okay. Zeke can't, maybe once upon a time, but Zeke can't do that anymore. This is a home run waiting to happen every carry, and it can be between the tackles.
Right.
So he doesn't run to contact. He has a little bit, I'm not saying he's Emmitt Smith, but he's got a little bit more of make you miss.
Yeah.
He's got more wiggle than Zeke has,
Yeah,
because Zeke just tries to overpower you.